morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're listening and where you're listening. Regardless, thank you for listening. The show is NXT Talk. The hosts, well, I'm Boris, and as always, I am joined by the one, the only, Matt.
Bonjour! How's everybody doing out there? We hope you're doing well. Boris, we're currently watching a replay of the Jays game. Shohei Ohtani just legging out a triple like it's nothing, like a gazelle. Boy, he's impressive. What's going on, buddy? How are you today?
I'm doing fan-effing-tastic.
Nice, I'm glad to hear it.
Man, it's hot.
It is hot and sticky, sweaty in Toronto. A muggy, humid-ass day.
Yeah, it's disgusting. We'll talk about the day in a second. But today on NXT Talk, we're going to be talking about all things NXT TV from August 10th, 2021. We're also going to be talking about the state of NXT and whether we should give a crap moving forward. And then we're going to be talking about an excellent NXT UK episode on NXT UK Corner. How does that sound to you?
Sounds like a planned stand. The state of your show might. That was a terrible Irish accent. Let's cut that immediately. No, leave it in. Leave it in. Warts and all, Boris. Yeah, buddy. Rough times for the black and yellow brand, but there are some silver linings kind of on these dark, dark clouds. A little, dare I say?
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. But, maybe we're just eternal optimists. I don't know.
Hey man, there's no point in being negative. Not that this is like a gimmick, you know what I mean? I actually do think like we're generally, well, maybe me a little more positive than you, but I think we try to look at the good things in wrestling.
I don't know what the fuck that meant.
I'm just thinking of your Cody Rhodes takes, your general attitude towards him and his work.
If this guy randomly gives you a middle finger out of the blue when the camera stopped rolling,
you promised that you weren't chirping him. You weren't saying nothing to him.
I 1,000% promise.
And he wasn't a heel. He was a baby face at the time.
Yes.
Oh, that's I don't know, man. I don't know about this. I don't know. Something's up with the Boris versus Cody Rhodes needs to happen. Book it. Promoters in Toronto.
I love it. Yeah, it is hot. It is sticky. It is muggy. It is disgusting. What a freaking day it's been. It gets cool and then it rains and then it's like 90% humidity again.
Yeah. It was said it was going to thunder and or lightning all day. We didn't quite get that. I did go for a Boris-style power walk to the grocery store. Not exactly the Boris length. But, yeah, man, it was a sticky, grotesque day today. I mostly stayed in, did a couple things, and, I saw an old friend, which was really, really nice. It's been a while, since the pandemic started, so it was very nice to catch up with an old pal. And, maybe got a guest or two for BAM, perhaps, in the future. We'll talk off air.
Nice. I like it. Yeah. It's kind of funny that you say Boris style walk, because I am down 75 pounds now.
Fucking right, buddy. Sorry to break the PG. Well, we're still PG-13. That's where the F word goes. Effing right, man. You look good.
Yeah.
We're both a little sweaty right now. This isn't the best. We don't look great right now. But in general, you look good. You look healthy. You look happy.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. The lady friend was watching NXT, and I tried getting her to go upstairs. But she's like, I'm sweaty. I'm disgusting. I'm like, you're going to be watching wrestling.
Yeah, in a group of guys who are also all probably pretty sweaty and disgusting.
Yeah.
Again, probably me more so than my roommates, but
yeah, it's just so funny. It's just so funny. Anyways, there was a point to this. Oh, yeah. I forget what it was. Oh, yeah. Boris length walk. So, things are opening up again. I am going out a little more. I am drinking a little more. So, when the year started, I was doing daily 5K walks. Nice. I find myself now doing at least 10 to 12K.
Solid.
Typically, I'm doing 15K a day.
Oh, wow, man. That's awesome. And going on some journeys across this city and Mississauga, the outskirts of this city.
Yeah, it's been crazy. But it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
You're a good photographer, too. Snapping some shots on Insta.
Man. Yeah, man, that's how I keep myself entertained, to be honest. And it's all with my iPhone camera. Like, I should take out my actual camera. It's honestly, when was the last time that I used it? I don't even remember the last time that I used my actual camera. It was like, poof, it might even be 2019.
Dang, yeah, pre-pandemic vibes.
I should get on that because I'm shooting a wedding the September long weekend.
Oh, damn, like Arbor Day. Yeah, that one. Is that what it is? Labor Day.
Labor
That's
Day.
The one. Yeah.
Labor Day, yeah.
Why did I say Arbor Day? Where did that come from?
And I don't know why I agreed.
It's ridiculous. It's very hot.
It's all a fever dream at this point. Kind of like NXT.
Do you want to get into this right away? Let's start.
Yeah, we might as well because it's going to be a long one, I think. So, on the Smack Daddies podcast, if you heard the beginning, both Matt and I joined them. Originally, it was only supposed to be Matt, but because of the news of the bloodening, the bludgeoning, all the releases, they asked if I would join them, at least for the news part, and I obviously did, and we were talking about the releases and kind of what that meant, but it was our hot takes at that point. It was like within half an hour.
Quick reactions, like up to the date, like immediate reactions, because they released 13 NXT wrestlers during SmackDown.
Well, here's the thing. Like, even I said it was like during the show. That's when the news came out. Who knows when the releases actually happened.
It's a good point. And perhaps it was like a news dump set up on purpose.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Point is, the news came out on a Friday, trying to catch everyone,
sleeping.
Yeah, literally. But
during SmackDown. So
during one of the worst episodes of SmackDown.
So quite literally, yes.
Do you have the list?
No, actually, I don't have the list. I just have various talking points. I'm sure we can grab it real quick.
No, it's all right.
You've heard the list
tons of people,
a million times.
Tons of people have been released, including the likes of Mercedes Martinez, Bronson Reed, Jake Atlas. Those are probably the three names that seem to surprise a lot of people the most.
The one that hurt my feelings the most, of course, my boy Leon Ruff.
I maintain the first three are the ones people actually care about.
Come on, that's just mean. That's just Leon.
Whatever.
Ruff.
He's gonna join Cheeseburger in ROH.
Get out of here! He's so much. Not that Cheeseburger is bad, but he's so much better.
No,
than
he's
Cheeseburger.
not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
Anyway.
He's a quarter pounder at best.
Can we please let's not use this to kick people while they're down. For Christ's sake, Boris, God. Just sitting here saying you're not as negative as me. And here we go.
And Pretty Deadly is still better than Breezango.
Nobody's arguing that. Better is a relative term. You have to define that what. Anyway, yeah.
Anyways.
So let's talk Bronson Reed. Where does he go? Was he done dirty? Did Odyssey Jones take his spot? Did Vince McMahon look at Odyssey and look at Bronson and say, well, God damn it, pal, we don't need two? Which I disagree with, because you can always have a big man wrestle a big man. That's fun.
Yeah, Bronson Reed is the weird one, because so one of the major talking points that came out throughout the entire weekend, Dave Meltzer even talked about it on SNME Radio, the main show on Sunday, and that was like, NXT is going to go through a change, and this change is going to include some key things. Some of the things is they are done with this indie midget wrestler style of superstar that they're going to get. So, no more people in their 30s, no more midgets, which is
an offensive term for a number of reasons to a number of people.
Which, God bless Dave. I love Dave.
Yeah.
But, I doubt.
If he was told that, like, I don't doubt that he was told that. You know what I mean? And then he said word for word what he was told, which is fine.
Yeah, but by whom? This is the thing, right?
The thing, and you know what I mean?
Exactly. Anyways, point is, so it's kind of interesting because, like, one of the main people that WWE right now is trying to keep is Adam Cole, who completely fits in this category. And of course, just like Dave Meltzer and Jason Agnew said on the main show, there's always going to be exceptions to the rule. But like someone like a Bronson Reed really surprises me because, we saw Keith Lee struggle in the main roster, continue to struggle in the main roster, and we had a NXT debate about can Bronson Reed succeed in the main roster, and I was pro hell yeah, because he's more of Vince McMahon's style. He knows how to play the big guy role, the traditional big guy role, whereas a Keith Lee, he has his flips and his his dazzling and his like whatever, right? His razzle dazzle.
He tries to be a flashier big man. He does moonsaults. He does a shooting star press. He's incredible. But yeah, so when we initially did that debate, I said that Vince McMahon's not going to get Bronson Reed, and he's going to be the Funkasaurus. And you kind of convinced me, and you swung me over. And then a lot of people were saying it. Like, yeah, I've heard other people say it too since, that Bronson Reed was more of like the traditional big man, and Vince McMahon would appreciate that more. Well, and that made sense on paper. But it turns out, I don't think Vince McMahon got this Bronson Reed character, Boris.
Here's the thing, like, dude, do they even know who they released?
Like in terms of Jonah Rock, no, I think he's gonna kill it wherever he goes, and we'll do like a quick little draft of the bigger
by that
names,
I mean, like, it just feels like they're just like literally like picking people off of their pictures and their bios as opposed to actually taking a look at them, which is kind of funny because I talked about how some companies let go of people last week on the midweek markout, right? Like, I got let go from BlackBerry literally based off of my title.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of like, it's almost kind of the same thing because Bronson Reed was at a certain level and it was like shit or get off the pot time, for lack of a better term. And it was either call him up and push him because he's going to be a strongly used big man, or send him on his merry way. And so that was Bronson. So yeah, so where do you think he should go?
Realistically, I can honestly see him go to New Japan.
Yeah. I think that's the choice for sure.
Yeah, I think he would strive in New Japan for many reasons, right? Like, I think it might be one of those things where he just might want to go home after all this.
Absolutely, yeah, he can do that, and yeah, I think there, like you said, a number of reasons. Just stylistically, I think a nice
Bronson Reed versus Jeff Cobb.
Oh, I was thinking that, yeah, man, the big guy versus big guy, the old irresistible force versus the immovable object. How about Jonah Rock versus Ishii? How about Jonah Rock versus even like I don't know, like Tanahashi, if you want to go there,
Which is kind of funny because, like, last week on BAM, we were literally just reviewing Royal Rumble 93, and one of the worst matches that we've ever reviewed and talked about it for a second time on one of our shows was Big Boss Man versus Bam Bam Bigelow.
So big guy versus big guy doesn't always work out, but sometimes it does. The one that comes to my mind immediately is a 5-star match is Andre versus Stan Hansen from 1981. That 5-star, amazing match. But it doesn't always work out, but when it does, it's magic, Boris. So same question. Now let's talk about Jake Atlas. He got done dirty, but it's for the best. Now, where does he go? What's next for him?
Anywhere. Honestly, this is a guy who is going to be a superstar anywhere he goes. Yeah. He is the Jungle Boy type of character, as you would say, type Pokemon.
Yes, exactly.
Like, this guy is he just reeks face.
Yeah. So here's what I would do. Having said that, I would debut him in AEW as a heel, he's bitter that he went and you know what I mean, tried to do the right thing and tried to chase his dream, and it turns out that all of his friends were doing better, and he comes in and he loses to Jungle Boy in an impressive match. They have their awesome match, and then he turns heel on him just briefly, just for a little bit, and then it's the slow burn of Jake Atlas finding himself, figuring out who he is, and then he becomes like a really good babyface, similar to kind of how the Dark Order did it, although obviously the Dark Order had a major thing happen that changed their trajectory a little bit. But you know what I mean? Like a similar thing where you start as heel and you kind of find yourself in front of the crowd and you become beloved. It kind of like the Hangman is doing a little bit. So yeah, I think that's what Jake Atlas, I think that would be the best career path for him. Lose to Jungle Boy in an incredible match, turn heel real quick, have a nice 6-month run as a heel, and then long term be an awesome babyface in AEW.
Yeah, but also I can see him going to Impact for some reason.
I would see like Impact or Ring of Honor. He could be like a number 1A, 2B, like right at the top of the card kind of level guy for one of those promotions for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I know you don't care much about Leon Ruff, like you've been chirping him, but like Major League Wrestling, I think, is the spot for him.
Or ROH. I'm not joking. I honestly do think and can see him having this like weird tag team with Cheeseburger.
I think like he's honestly like underrated around the wrestling community. He's the new 1, 2, 3 kid. He's a great babyface. He has like believable offense for his size. It works well. And he's like the kind of guy who should be on a wrestling show in the lower level.
You know what I honestly appreciate about Leon Ruff? And this goes to your point of him being underappreciated. It's his physical acting.
Yeah, man, exactly. And that's all wrestling is, you know what I mean? He takes great bumps. He's great at selling. You have to be at that level. But he's like a 1, 2, 3 kid. He's like a Spike Dudley. I really like his work. Really like his work a lot. Mercedes Martinez, one more. Where does she go? What's next?
AEW.
Yeah, it's got to be.
100%.
Right? Yeah. And kind of fall into that like trainer role, whatever. So here's the question: at the next pay-per-view, they're doing the Casino Battle Royale. Who's the Joker? Is it her or is it Ruby Soho?
It's Mercedes Martinez.
You think so?
Yeah, I think in the grand scheme of things, Ruby Soho, everyone is already kind of assuming that she's going to show up. Let her show up. Yeah. Let her debut there, but let Mercedes Martinez kind of take the spotlight.
Here's my thought. And I might be booking AEW into an absolute hole here, but here's what I would do, because the Joker doesn't ever actually win. The Joker debuts, and sometimes they win the Battle Royal. Brian Cage did, but he didn't win the title. I would have Ruby Soho win the Battle Royal as the Joker, and then beat Britt Baker for the title. Win the title. It doesn't have to be like right away, but like 6 months down the line, and then have Thunder Rosa take it from her, and then you'd build up another Britt Baker Thunder Rosa match. But
yeah. I think at the end of the day,
push Ruby, build someone new in the AEW women's division, build some stars.
I think that's the key, right? I think that they're in a very unique they have this unique opportunity where they can actually build different people off the back of Britt Baker, right? It's just, I think that right now is the time for them to do that.
Yeah, I think Britt Baker is so big that she doesn't need the title. I think it's good that she has it because she's the biggest star, but she doesn't need it, and they could help elevate Ruby with it. Mm-hmm. I think that would be an idea. I don't know. Tell me I'm a fool in the comments section, listeners, please. Also, is there someone who was released that you think is going to stand out that hasn't really gotten a lot of love? I know people have talked a lot about Alex Zane. Have you seen? I personally have not seen a single Alex Zane match. I don't think, unfortunately. Yep.
Tyler Rust,
man. Bobby Fish.
Yeah. Look, no. It's not like his whatever. For me, I think he's in the twilight of his career, so whatever he does, he's going to do it for himself. Yeah. I honestly think he's the type of guy who's just going to ride the wave of the indies.
I think he'll go to ROH and be like a trainer. He'll do his weird interview segment, and it'll be all right. Yeah, Tyler Rust, you never know. He seems like a solid hand and like a good guy to have around. He could show up on Dark for sure.
A good talker.
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, and the other person that I was kind of thinking is Kona Reeves.
Yeah, he seems like he could be in the Wingmen in 2 or 3 weeks. Wearing those dumb shirts. Okay, so that kind of... did you have anything else to add on the releases?
So, in terms of where these people are going, not so much, but let's talk about NXT and the state of NXT. NXT right now, we kind of kicked off by saying, what people are reporting is the future of NXT. Is it time for us to focus on BAM a little more, or what in your gut of guts, what do you think is going to happen with NXT?
Gut of guts sounds like an insult. No, but no, I think it's gonna keep going as long as it's on USA. Now, if it gets canceled, God knows, right? But they're getting 30 million, I think it is, right? That's what people have reported. So they're gonna care about it, man. They have to. USA is not going to be happy if they just shit on this brand. So it seems like they're building up next week, at least, very, very huge. We'll see what happens after Takeover. But I don't know. I'm not ready to throw in the towel just yet. And as long as this continues, we'll continue this podcast. It might be 30 minutes and we'll be making fun of it, and then we talk about NXT UK mostly until that, of course, gets folded and everyone gets fired. But
and that's actually a great point that you bring up, which is something that I when we were talking about it. Kind of made me go, that within all of these releases, NXT UK somehow has not made any noise.
Yeah. And let's just hope that the purge is not coming.
So we should just stop talking about NXT UK?
Maybe Vince McMahon has just completely forgotten it exists.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I don't know. I like the direction that it seems to be right now. It seems like next week's show is also set up to be one really strong opener, one really strong main event, and then a bunch of squashes from matches 2 through 5 or 6, whatever, how many they're doing this week. So that's not the worst. That's kind of, they're trying to have their cake and eat it too, trying to be a mix of Dynamite and Dark, if you will. But we'll see how it goes. But again, as long as it's on USA, I think we're good. We're going to see if they renew it, and if it gets canceled, boy, we're in some trouble.
Yeah. And the thing is, NXT was built in such a way over the past, 2 years, 2.5 years to contend against AEW. So it was very much like a,
super indie or
super
something.
Indie.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, when we question, is it developmental or is it another brand, right?
Yeah, it was kind of like that in between nothing.
So, I can see from a corporate creative point of view that they're like, okay, let's take a step back and recreate our developmental brand.
Yeah.
Because there was some talk about Evolve coming back and, shows even being filmed with this new Evolve, and that was going to be the new developmental brand. And I'm kept thinking, more is more.
Yeah.
Let's take a step back. And I can see this being that, right? I'm not justifying anything WWE's doing. I'm just strictly taking a look at this from we need a developmental brand. We have these guys on USA. We're going to get the ratings that we get at this point. We're not against Dynamite anymore. So let's just focus on our own house.
Yeah. Yeah. 100% right. Bang on. But okay, so I will just push back on a couple things. So it's scummy when a corporation signs someone to a contract and then bails on it.
Of course.
And then they don't honor the contract. That is scummy. That's just people uproot their families and move across the globe in some cases to live in Orlando, and then they get fired at the whim of a 80-year-old with dementia. So who knows? You know what I mean? That is scummy in and of itself. Just on a human being level, I don't think you can argue that.
No,
but it's corporations, it's life, it's business. Sports is a business. This is all a business. We understand. We get it. Having said that, I don't think it's unjustifiable, man. At the end of the day, NXT was cranking out the type of wrestler that Triple H likes and the type of wrestler that he thinks the modern fan likes. And that is nothing close to what Vince McMahon wants. And at the end of the day, if they're going to be developing WWE wrestlers, they might as well try to develop someone in Vince McMahon's image, man. They might as well try this. It's justifiable in that way. It sucks that 13 people lost their job and so many more cuts might be coming and this and that. It's crazy and that it sucks in that regard. Don't get us wrong. But I think I understand the justification,
Yeah. And we're not justifying the fact that they're being dickwads.
No, it sucks. In a lot of ways, they're monsters. It's still a global pandemic, man. Bronson Reed moved his family from Australia. Just honor the man's contract. Make him the Funkasaurus if you have to.
Yeah, right? Oh,
somebody call his mom. Anyway, so I think that's the direction of NXT is going to be, it's an interesting case. Here's something for you. Adam Cole, he stay? What's happening? Is he in the main roster in a couple weeks, or is he in AEW in a couple weeks?
Man, it's so here's the thing. From my point of view, how can you honestly stay there knowing and reading and seeing everything that's happening, right?
We're gonna have an NXT debate here.
But at the same time, he, like I said on Friday, he might be getting told the right things.
Oh, I'm sure he's getting told the right things. Why would you tell him the wrong things?
Well,
you know
of course.
What I mean? I theorized that maybe Vince and he wouldn't get along, but it sounds like, if you believe the scuttlebutt that you read on the internet, that he and Vince had a great meeting and they did get along. So, cool. More power to them. We'll see how that lasts. But, okay, so I think he will stay. I'm not going to say he should, but I don't think that, a lot of, you see so much people that just dismissive kind of asshole fans on the internet being like, oh, he's a mark if he stays, he's an idiot, oh, he's a mark, you see that dumb mark word. Anyway.
He's going to do what's best for himself.
And his family.
And
listen, they're going to drop a bag full of money, and they are promising him the moon, and he doesn't want to overshadow Britt Baker in AEW. He doesn't, when Britt Baker wrestled at the first All-In pay-per-view, they were chanting Adam Cole and Cole's girlfriend and all this stuff, and that really kind of stung her, and she's talked about it in numerous interviews, and she's doing awesome work now, arguably the MVP of AEW, you could argue. I argue that from time to time because I don't like the Young Bucks and Kenny's promos, although they've been on fire lately. You got to give credit where it's due. They've been kind of on fire lately. They have. Anyway, but so this is all to say, I think Adam Cole is staying. I'm not going to tell you he should. I'm not going to tell you I would. I kind of wish he would go to AEW. I'm still a wrestling fan at heart, but I understand if he stays and they drop a bag full of money and say you're going to be Intercontinental Champion, you're going to wrestle Seth Rollins, and you're going to have an opportunity to main event WrestleMania, much like Daniel Bryan and Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart before.
Yep. Exactly.
So we'll see. So I think he stays. I would bet money that he stays, and maybe I'm a fool. But I honestly think the biggest thing is that he doesn't want to overshadow Britt. I honestly think that's gonna be the decision.
Yep. I agree with you 100%. That's kind of where I was going when I was saying, like, the whole he's hearing the right things and yada, 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 yada.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to say before we move on to talking NXT?
Well, we talked about the new direction. No, I think that pretty much covers it, man. Let's actually talk about this here show and then the superior NXT UK with top 10 match of the year.
Oh, yeah. All right. So we have one bit of business before we move on. And that is ratings and the weekly rating system du jour. What do you think we should do this week?
I think there was a lot of product placement. There was actually a Sonic drink of some kind next to the $1 million title, if you look real quick.
And also, in honor of Idris Elba being casted as Knuckles, we should do something Sonic related.
There you go. So, killing two birds with one stone. It is top 5 Sonic cheeseburgers, Sonic products out of 5 for a cheeseburger percentage on this one. Perhaps
and not the wrestler.
No.
Or Leon Ruff.
Yes. Poor Leon. Did him dirty on this podcast. My boy, kick a man when he's down. I still love you, Leon Ruff. I believe in you.
I love it. All right, so the show kicks off with a recap video covering highlights of the Samoa Joe Karrion Kross build and running down all the exciting parts of tonight's show. The commentary team, which this week there was no Beth Phoenix, it was just Vic Joseph and Wade Barrett. They inform us that Ember Moon isn't clear to compete, so William Regal has found a replacement opponent for Sarai in the form of Dakota Kai. So Dakota Kai makes her entrance and calls Raquel Gonzalez out, saying she's going to defeat the undefeated signing and show everyone that we're looking at the next NXT Women's Champion. This leads us into match number 1 of the night, which was Dakota Kai versus Sarai Matthew
Yes.
What did you think of the match?
I like this match a lot. I like this. This was a way better idea than Ember Moon versus Sarai. I guess Sarai was going to get a big win, which all power to them. But yeah, I kind of like this booking in retrospect. It works. Dakota needed this win big time after losing to Aaliyah on main event. We'll get into this later. But can a wrestler please get a string of wins leading up to a title match in NXT?
Honestly,
good heavens.
When I saw this, I was like, oh, God. Number 1, it's Sarai, right? So my assumption was they're just going to, like, this undefeated superstar, the Io Shirai, the next Io Shirai. And, they're doing poor Dakota Kai wrong. So, like, right away, I thought, here's a big worried. L. It's kind of funny. The lady friend was like, yeah, now I know why you watch this shit.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because it was a good match. And also, Dakota Kai. And yes. Yes. I really did enjoy the match, though. Dakota Kai doing some bullying, doing some demolition-style clubbering, Boris. Forearms, rough stuff. She was trying to prove that she was, like, the big dog. And I really liked the storytelling because Sarai was undefeated, and she was having none of this.
That hesitation drop kick.
Oh man. And you know what? It was like it was well timed. It was crazy, but I think she actually like missed this time, and it was actually like a beautifully done wrestling trick, and it wasn't just her killing a woman with a drop kick, which we have seen in the past. Yeah. That one seems to be it. And again, I've never wrestled. I took like one stage combat course, but that's neither here nor there, Boris. Anyway, so I am 90% sure that one is on the receiver. It just seems like she's coming in and you got to like make it look good while also dodging so you don't die.
Yep. So Sarai hits Kai with one. She goes for a second one. And this time Dakota Kai sidesteps and hits a scissor kick. Both women down and out as we see Raquel Gonzalez arriving at the arena. Sarai with a schoolboy pin, but she only got a 2. A victory roll off the ropes. Jackknife pin for another 2. Crescent kick. A second into the corner, but Kai nails her kick. And guess what? Dakota Kai wins by pinfall at 13 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yes. So Sarai loves a bridge during a submission. Loves one. Busted out numerous times. Really liked Wade Barrett in this match, describing how Sarai has never been in the deep waters like this. She's never had to like fight a bully, had a long match like this, getting in striking battles like this, and we're learning a lot about her. Wade Barrett, awesome. And yeah, the Yakuza kick finish came out of nowhere. You could say that it was kind of a no-sell, but I liked it. I thought, she fighting spirit.
Yep.
as it were.
I really liked it. So post-match, Dakota goes for another kick, but Gonzalez shows up and runs her off. Raquel goes back to the ring and gets on the mic. She says Kai will never beat her and never hold the NXT Women's Championship. If she wanted a chance, all she had to do was ask. But now she'll get her opportunity, but at TakeOver, she'll tear Dakota apart.
Yeah, very good. I'm here for it. Good promo. Fiery, Fiery Latina babyface Raquel Gonzalez. I am here for. Boris, in terms of a rating, I would say probably 3.5 delicious Sonic products out of 5 for a 70% cheeseburger percentage on this one.
I approve. All right. We get a recap of last week's main event, which was the Love Her or Leave Her match with the weird ending. Then we get footage of Indy Hartwell doing her makeup for her first date with Dexter Lumis.
Boy.
Yep. So Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae are at the kitchen table talking about how they're going to make this work when Lumis rings the doorbell carrying roses and wearing a shirt covered in tiny skulls. Johnny greets him while Candice chats with Indy. She asks if she's got protection, and Hartwell says she's a former tag team champ, so she doesn't need protection. Gargano has an awkward "what are your intentions with my daughter" chat with Dexter, ranting at him while Lumis stares on in silence. Eventually the two lovebirds leave and Johnny reveals that he's got a tracker on his phone as we go to break.
Yeah, so a couple questions. One, skull shirt, really? Dexter, really? We're doing anyway. Two, what did your lady friend think of this one?
Oh, yeah, this is like...
This is where we lost her?
This is where we lost her.
I actually laughed so hard knowing that she was downstairs watching this. It's just like, oh my God, they really didn't waste time chasing away the casual fans on this one.
Yeah, but she did laugh a little bit, especially, what's kind of funny? The line that we cringed at, which was the protection line, was the line that made her laugh.
Oh, nice. There you go. Yeah, to me, it was just like, I don't think I've ever heard a condom joke in a pro wrestling show that wasn't written by Vince Russo, so there you go. That might be a first.
Yep, there you go. So that was that.
A bit of pro wrestling cheese. Yeah, this was... sometimes the way promos are dope, and sometimes they're swings and misses.
One thing I loved about this promo was the fact that they mentioned that Jake Atlas, Austin Theory has ran away.
He ran away. He might be he's shirtless in the woods, they said, or something. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Well, that's what SmackDown and Raw feels like, I'm sure. Shirtless in the woods.
I almost did a spit take. That would have been bad.
On all the equipment.
On all of the equipment. Just end
your
the
notes.
podcast immediately. Yeah. All right. Very good.
Back from commercial. Hit Row are in a storage container with a trash fire roaring for some reason. They call Legado del Fantasma out and say if they want to disrespect our culture, they'll disrespect theirs, and they burn a lucha mask. Which... Did you hear the boos as they threw the lucha mask? I was
going to say, man, are they getting booed? I did hear that. I remarked
You don't throw a lucha mask, regardless whether you're a face or a heel. That's a no-no.
Pretty big heel move. So, you know what I mean? If the crowd's going to do a double turn here, I say you lean into it. Why not at this point? Go. I actually, we've said... they turned them too early, talking about Hit Row. Hit Row should have gotten at least 6 months, maybe a year or two as cool heels, I think. Shield style, and then turn,
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just laughing at my notes right now.
Oh. Well, that's good. Someone has to. LOL. No, go on.
All right. So, Ilya Dragunov makes his entrance and gets on the mic. He says he's not a man of big words. Yeah. He should have just ended the promo there. That's what I was laughing at.
That's funny. Yeah. That would have proven his point. I am not a man of the big words.
Like quote. Good old Gillen from The Simpsons or whatever. He says he's not a man of big words because where he comes from and on the path he's going, words don't mean anything, but the struggle means something. The sheer blind belief in your fighting spirit has meant something, so he put all his strength not into his mouth but straight into his fists. So at TakeOver 36 you'll witness chaos and rage and history. See, he should have said chaos as I like, and then
shaking your fist.
Yeah, and then rage,
shaking
the other
your
fist.
Other fist. Yes. Much like Biff and Bop.
Yes. So at TakeOver 36, you'll witness chaos and rage, and history will be made as an unbeatable kingdom falls when I end Walter's reign and become the next NXT UK champion.
Nice watch, Ilya. That is all I would like to add. No, this was like old school wrestling in that it did not feel scripted at all. Maybe it was scripted, and it was just his delivery felt natural. It felt like it was from the heart. It felt like a wrestling promo.
That's exactly what I said. It felt like a wrestling promo. Enter the former UK champion, Pete done. He talks about how without him traveling the world as NXT UK champion and carrying the entire continent of Europe on his back, Ilya wouldn't even be here, and if he had been, he'd have put him in his place a long time ago. Dragunov says he's not here for anyone else. He's here because he carried his so often destroyed body straight to the top. He'll make the impossible possible and beat Walter, and that's something Dunn can't change, and especially something he never did. But if he'll put his will where his words are, he challenges him to a fight tonight. Pete says after tonight, Ilya won't make it to NXT TakeOver 36.
So the first thing I thought, I texted it to you, and then I actually wrote it on the board as well. Why would they not advertise this match? Why would they not try to pop some kind of rating? Dragunov versus Pete Dunne, you're telling me people wouldn't watch that? I would definitely, that's a can't miss match if they go 15 minutes. It was a great wrestling match. Yeah. Why would you not advertise it?
Yeah.
Until the finish of that wrestling match, and then I understood why they would not tell you to watch necessarily. They'd still put it on if you're watching, but they wouldn't go out of your way to highlight, hey, come watch Ilya Dragunov
do stuff.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, backstage, LA Knight is interviewed with Cameron Grimes in tow. He takes issue with being accused of leaving Grimes hanging, saying he lost the match despite Knight's best efforts to keep saving him. So LA gave him an opportunity to clean his own mess up, but he failed. Ted DiBiase is trying to fill his head with all this talk that he's special, but Cameron is just a butler, and there's only one man who runs this. Knight will be in action after the break.
LA Knight runs the bingo. This is where we got our Sonic product placement, a shake next to the $1 million title, Boris.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this was bad, and it would get worse.
Oh yeah. So LA Knight has a match with Andre Chase. The match lasted a whopping 32 seconds. 32
seconds, and LA Knight wins with the BFT, the Blunt Force Trauma, which is a snapmare driver.
Yep.
Employed also by EC3 and others.
Yep.
The Miz uses it sometimes.
Yep. So post-match, we'll talk about the post-match before we give a rating.
Because we're the type who thinks the promos matter in the rating, especially if they're directly after or like on the way to the ring and stuff. And let's talk.
Yep. So post-match, Knight tries to make Grimes shine his boots, but he's interrupted by none other than the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Let me try to get my words out better than Ted did.
Yeah.
So DiBiase says this has gone too far, and he knows Cameron is a man of his word, but he could be doing a lot of other things. LA tries to say he wants to be a butler, but Ted says Grimes has a lot more going for him. He believes in him, and so do all these people. He tells Cameron he can be whatever he wants and to follow his heart, and he knows he wants to be a champion, and he thinks that if LA Knight puts the $1 Million Championship on the line just one more time, Cameron Grimes would win. Yeah, so, boy, this isn't the first time we've said that, DiBiase on a live mic is rough. But this was the worst example. God bless Ted DiBiase. He in his day, you didn't have to cut live promos really much. And exactly. Sometimes you would stand on the podium there with Gene Okerlund and cut one. And, he was in his prime then, and I'm sure he could do it much better. But, this has been kind of rough for Ted DiBiase. Anytime he gets a live mic, it's bad. He's pretty good in the backstage segment, so let's just keep him there. Would you say he's Leon Ruff?
It was Leon Ruff, man. Yeah, so factoring in the fact that it was a 32-second match and a terrible promo, LA Knight really saved it, though.
Yep. So Knight says it's been scientifically proven that Cameron can't beat him, but he'll give him another match at TakeOver 36. But if he wins for the third time, Grimes won't be his butler. DiBiase will. Ted says that's a very interesting proposition, and he's a gambling man, and his money is on Cameron Grimes, and he's got a lot of money. So there you go. The stipulation is set.
Yeah, I liked how they said later in the show that LA Knight would upgrade his butler. It would be like a butler evolution, going back to the Pokemon jokes. But yes, so factoring in the fact that the match was nothing and the promo was terrible, we're going to go 1 cheeseburger out of 5 for a 20% Sonic the Hedgehog percentage. A sizable fail, not negative stars because it wasn't like an affront to wrestling, but it's as low as we can go on this here show.
Yeah, it pretty much is. All right, so we get a Gigi Dolan promo following where she cuts black roses and says this isn't just a job like it is for the other gals. It's about running through every top woman in the division, and she's not doing it alone.
Yep, I like this. I thought it was going to be Mandy Rose coming out with her. It seems like they're building to that on social media, which is where they do everything on NXT, apparently. But yeah, this was intriguing. I like Gigi Dolan. She's got some Paige vibes to her.
I'm going to completely derail the entire show right now because you brought up social media and everything happening in social media. That Baron Corbin TikTok.
Oh, that was actually one of the funniest things WWE has done in years. It was actually laugh out loud funny from WWE. I swear to God.
If you haven't watched it, I posted it sometime Tuesday afternoon, and it's a TikTok kind of documenting a day in the life of Baron Corbin. Poor man Corbin.
Corbin's going to turn himself babyface here.
Dude, 100%.
Who'd have ever thought we'd see the day? But he's doing great.
Bartender Dave knew.
Well, hey, you and Bartender Dave have been on the Baron Corbin bandwagon, the Lone Wolf bandwagon. Did you see that he's called the Lone Wolf, like LOAN, Lone Wolf? That's my kind of comedy.
Here's the thing.
That's just good stuff.
And they even poke fun at the fact that he's not getting paid for running a TikTok video.
They're really like crossing the T's and dotting the I's on this one. Yeah.
Oh, it was beautiful. Honestly, if you haven't watched it, go out and watch it. It's the best thing WWE has done since last week's event center, Ilya Dragunov, Walter.
Definitely. It's the funniest thing they've done in years. I laughed out loud.
I'm laughing just thinking about it, how well it was shot.
Right? Yeah, they did a really good job. They actually legit did.
Yep, so back from the commercial, we get some hype for the match we just saw get made. And this leads us into Gigi Dolan versus Amari Miller.
Yeah, so on the squash scale, this is pretty good. They got in, they got out. Gigi looked good, and she developed a new finisher kind of out of the blue, it looked like, and she won with it. This was fine, man. This is what I want to see out of a squash match. Yep. Now, if they did this every week, it would get tiresome pretty quick. But this first time, this is all it needs to be. So, big fan of this quick little match.
Yep, so Gigi Dolan wins in 1 minute and 50 seconds with an abdominal stretch driver.
Yeah, it looked like she made it up on the fly, but it is actually her finisher.
She uses it.
Yeah, I've never really seen it before, but it's awesome. It's an abdominal stretch, and it's similar to like the crucifix bomb that Leon Ruff does.
Who?
Your boy.
Who?
You're fucking blah. Sorry. That's fine.
Just you know, go. You can answer during the podcast.
No, that's fine.
It's okay. We're not doing anything important.
Sorry about that. I got a phone call. It has my phone on like some kind of asshole.
Meanwhile, I'm constantly looking at my phone.
All right, but yeah, so I thought this was pretty good. Again, we're rating it on the squash scale, but we're going to go 3 Sonic placements out of 5 for a 60% delicious cheeseburger placement. Again, if they did this every week, it wouldn't work, but this first time, it was all it needed to be. 2 minutes straight to the point, impressive finisher. Gigi looks great. You want to see more.
Yep. So back from the commercial break, we return to Indy Hartwell and Dexter Lumis on their date. Indy orders about half a dozen appetizers at the Italian restaurant they chose and rambles about how great chicken fingers are. When she hears radio chatter that's obviously Johnny Gargano's voice, she walks over and picks up a menu, and there's Candice LeRae, who sputters out an excuse before running away. And that's that.
These are not getting better.
No.
Some of these way promos are pretty great, and some are tragic misses.
Some of them need to move out of the way. Like that joke. That was a miss.
Moving on.
I'm cutting that. No,
Warts and all, buddy.
Oh, my God. All right, so, by the way, it was at this point that I had to order chicken fingers.
Yeah, because of all of the Sonic yelling in your face. Buy our delicious food!
Yeah. So William Regal is in the ring with security and the podium. He calls Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly down for their face-to-face, or a chest-to-face, if there was these two, because they're both weird.
Yes. I see what you did there, buddy. I liked it. I'm for it.
What the fuck is wrong with us?
No, I think we're rolling, man. I think we're right there with it. Whew. So, okay, let me ask you something. We do a podcast about NXT. We watch it religiously. Is this not the first you've heard tell of a 2 out of 3 falls stipulation on this match?
Literally, that was what I was about to ask you. So, this is another thing about all of wrestling, not just WWE, all of wrestling.
WWE is the worst for it, I think.
Yeah, because did this happen on social media?
Maybe. If it did, I missed it. Sorry, not to try to big league anyone who finds all their media, all their news from social media, but kind of have a life somewhat. I'm not on wrestling Twitter all the goddamn time, you know what I mean? So I'm not getting all the updates necessarily. I don't know. If they would have told us, even on social media, a couple days ago, but on the show last week, that next week they're going to decide the stipulations for a 2 out of 3 falls match that will blow off the feud, I think they could have got more viewers. Why not advertise this stuff?
Yeah, because out of the blue, Regal tells them that their match at TakeOver 36 will be 2 out of 3 falls, and they each get to pick a stipulation for the first 2 falls, but he'll pick one for the third and final fall if it's necessary. So it's a 3 stages of hell match.
Yep.
Kyle says he's been thinking about all the stipulations he could use to torture and abuse Adam, but his loss at Great American Bash still stings, so his pick for first fall is a straight-up vanilla pinfall or submission match, because if he beats Cole in that, his psyche will shatter. Adam calls him delusional, and for 13 years he's proved over and over again that he's better at this job. He cites a bunch of results as proof before saying Kyle O'Reilly has made it crystal clear what he wants, and fortunately he wants the same thing. Unfortunately, he wants the same thing, or fortunately, depends how we're talking about it. So as far as he's concerned, the second fall needs to be a street fight. And don't you worry what Regal's third fall is going to be, because he says going 2-0 and ending the Cole O'Reilly saga. Kyle O'Reilly says he smashed Cole's face into the steps because he taught him. He sharpened the blade and handed him the sword. And maybe he's naive in thinking that he can be an upstanding citizen now, but he's got his priorities straight, because he's literally willing to do anything to put Adam down for good. He just doesn't care. And now that he doesn't give a damn, he's the most dangerous man he's ever stepped in the ring with. Man, Adam Cole, he recovered quite fast.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, he had spinal contusions and neck-based contusions. But yeah, he rebounded quite nicely.
Yep. All right, so Cole says, of course, he taught him. He's been trying to live up to his legacy for 13 years and riding on his coattails the whole way, and Kyle will never be Adam Cole. He's the greatest NXT superstar this brand has ever seen, and Kyle O'Reilly is just a footnote in that career. He'll teach him something else right here and right now, and that's that he doesn't have a killer instinct. He's soft. He's pathetic. And a brawl breaks out. Security holds them apart, and Regal announces the stipulation for the third fall, which is a steel cage match.
So it's a throwback to, I think, the original 3 stages of hell, which was Shawn Michaels Triple H at Armageddon. I want to say 2002, 3?
I don't know.
2002 Armageddon. Yeah.
2.
So yeah, regular match, street fight, steel cage match. No, wait, and the original 3 stages of hell was Austin versus Triple H at No Way Out 2001.
Yep, and then they did the Gargano Cole.
Yes.
In NXT Toronto.
Yes, true. I don't know why I thought the first one was Triple H, Shawn Michaels there. The first one was definitely Triple H versus Austin. No Way Out. Amazing match that was. But yeah, so this wasn't the strongest promo, but, Adam Cole's really good. Kyle O'Reilly held his own. It was fine. Good stuff.
Part of me thinks they just should have said loser leaves.
Yeah, they should have thrown it on there. Definitely would have helped.
Regardless of what happens to Adam Cole, I'm pretty sure this is going to be his last match in NXT.
Yeah, exactly. And it would have helped. It would have been nice. Everyone knows. You're right. It doesn't mean that he's leaving WWE. But yeah, loser leaves town. Definitely, for sure.
Right. So cut to Timothy Thatcher and Tommaso Ciampa cutting a promo backstage. Ciampa talks about how Pete Dunne and Oney Lorcan needed a third man to put them down. Ridge Holland is a young, big man, and this industry chooses people like him. I love that line. But Holland isn't Thatcher. He isn't Ciampa. 2 men who have traveled the world perfecting their craft. They chose this industry, and they continue to choose this industry. If Holland wants to try to make his name at their expense, they'll party, and Tom tries to claim the match, but Tim, with all due respect, says he wants Ridge, and class will be in session.
I really like this promo a lot. Classic old guy, mean guy, grumpy guy promo.
Yeah,
Tommaso
36
Ciampa.
Years old.
Yeah.
And angry, yeah.
Tommaso Ciampa throws his chair.
Yep.
As he is wont to do. This is good stuff.
Yeah, I like this a lot. This is classic, those 2, right?
I think I just realized that this is a double header, not a replay, right?
Yeah, it's a double header.
Oh, I see. Nice.
They lost the first game.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
This is Game number 2.
Yeah, and Otani just continuing to do work.
Yeah. Want to get back to the podcast?
Yeah, let's do it. NXT talk.
NXT TLK. Guys, this is how the show's going to be.
My arms are sweating. Literally, it is quite hot down
That's
here.
disgusting.
I'm glistening.
As I fucking snort into the...
Tell you, it's a hot one in Toronto. I believe Rob Thomas once said, like 7 inches from the midday sun, boys.
Yep. So back from commercial, we get a promo from Imperium that gets interrupted by MSK. Remember them?
I am vaguely aware of their work, yes.
I thought they would be cut.
Oh, no. Could you imagine? They're solid. I think they have their place. Hopefully. Who knows?
Hopefully.
I thought Bronson Reed did.
That's the thing. Anyways, MSK mock their style of speaking and say they're the IV drip putting new life into the tag team division and offer a title match because they're fighting champions all night, all day.
I think that's kind of a heel line, the IV drip thing. A little heelish. But
dude, for a very face team, they do a lot of heel stuff and deliver a lot of heel promos.
They're kind of like goofball dickheads in a lot of ways. Nash Carter way more than Wesley, but it's they could go heel at some point.
Yep. All right, it is time for the NXT Breakout Tournament semifinals as Odyssey Jones goes up against Trey Baxter.
They worked really hard in the 3 minutes that they got. I love the tossing suplexy thing that Odyssey hit on Trey Baxter. And there's another really clever spot where Baxter did like a 619 in the bottom rope to Odyssey Jones's like leg to try to chop the beast down. They only got 3 minutes. This is a really good 3 minutes.
Exactly. So Odyssey Jones wins at 2 minutes and 55 seconds by pinfall with a powerbomb lift dropped into a rock bottom.
Yep, suplex lift, like a side suplex lift, I think, dropped into a rock bottom. Anyway, a very good little 3-minute match. You couldn't really call it more than 3 product placements out of 5 for a 60% Sonic cheeseburger percentage.
Yep, so after the match, Jones is interviewed. He's excited to punch his ticket to the finals and tells his mom that he made it.
Yeah, this is a good little feel-good babyface moment.
Yep. Hey, remember Tian Shaw?
Yeah.
Well, they're back, and they cut a cryptic promo as we go to break.
Lasted all of 5 seconds. Again, I'm vaguely aware of their work, yes.
Back from commercial, Kushida leaves William Regal's office, followed shortly thereafter by Malcolm Bivens, who tells the interview lady that he thinks Regal has news for her.
Yep. Title Tuesday, Boris, not to be confused with KFC's Toonie Tuesday, which I'm sure will be next week's product placement.
Love it. Regal comes out and says that MSK will defend the tag titles against Imperium, and Kushida will defend the Cruiserweight title against Roderick Strong next week.
Let's
on NXT.
Do it. I am been excited for that tag team match, but this Cruiserweight title match, let's do that. Give them 20 minutes.
Yeah, might as well. This leads us into match number 4?
5, I believe?
Five. Can't even read my own notes, which is hilarious because they're computer notes.
Yeah, right? You'd think that's rough. It is pretty hot.
Like,
is your screen sweating? What's going on?
Like,
your eyes are sweating.
Is literally dripping into my eyes.
We need like some central air up in this piece here.
Boa versus Drake Maverick.
One thing I enjoyed is we've talked about it before. The SmackDown Here Comes the Pain Kung Fu Straight Punch. Shout out to my friend Derek, who used to beat me with that move all the time. It was quite frustrating.
Yep. So this match, like, really, what's there to say about this match?
At the about 1-ish minute mark, 2-minute mark, Mei Ying blows the spooky smoke into the face of Drake Maverick. And so we have differentiated. There's different smoke. I think the black smoke is knockout smoke, and this is just regular smoke, which is just spooky, general blinding smoke.
Yeah, it's kind of like different colors of kryptonite.
Oh, yes, exactly. Or different colors of the Great Muda's Mist. I think it's black, like, is poisonous. Which one burns? Red burns.
Red burns.
And green is just general blindiness.
General Tajiri Mist.
Yes, exactly.
Man, we're nerds.
Yeah, hey, sometimes someone's got to do it, buddy. So, I would say this was pretty much as bad as the LA Knight, but it didn't have, like, that terrible promo as well.
Yeah, so Boa wins by pinfall after a roundhouse kick at 2 minutes and 42 seconds.
Yeah, high kick to the back of the head, which is far safer than Xia Li throwing a crazy Mortal Kombat roundhouse to someone's chin.
And that's the last time we saw that someone.
Exactly. So, unfortunately, God, geez, I didn't even think of that.
And her tag team partner.
That was the last time. Oh, man, true. That was in that mixed tag match. Yeah, you said that on the show. I totally forgot. That was a great point. Anyway, so yeah, if we're going to put a number on this, it was slightly better than the terrible LA Knight match, only because it didn't have the terrible promo. So we're going to go 1.25 cheeseburgers. It's a 25% cheeseburger percentage. It's still a pretty big cheesy fail. I don't see how this is actually going to lure in any Chinese fans, this vaguely racist gimmick, like from 1980. How is it actually going to lure in the Chinese audience?
It's not.
So it's kind of just a waste of everyone's time. I like wrestling camp, and it's not like the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's pretty bad and ultimately pointless and dumb.
Yeah.
Right? Am I wrong?
No, you're not. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, very good.
Tranquilo. Back from commercial, we go to a Dexter Lumis Indy Hartwell date spot. She is quite the chatterbox, and so funny aside.
Yeah.
As she's talking, I literally turned to the lady friend and says, "That's you."
Oh no.
Why am I compelled?
Hopefully it was in a playful way and she didn't. I noticed that she's not here anymore. She has a life, but doing other things.
Yeah,
sit here
taking
and
care of
watch
her
us do
daughter.
a podcast. Yeah, but that's funny. That's a good smooth move, you friggin' moron. Sometimes
I actually get her to watch wrestling again.
Sometimes you got to throw in a playful jab here and there. I'm sure it wasn't like, Anyway,
so Indy Hartwell is being a chatterbox and says she always has room for dessert when a waiter rolls up with a coconut cake and it turns out to be Johnny Gargano in a bad wig and mustache, which she pulls off. Gargano decides it's his cake and the tug of war breaks out and the cake goes right into Dexter's face. Gargano runs away. Hartwell reminds Lumis she always has room for dessert, and she eats the cake off his face as the camera fades. And they kiss. We got a video package for Joe versus Cross at TakeOver. An Ilya Dragunov video follows to set the stage for our main event, which begins after the break.
Yeah, I like the Joe Cross video. It's pretty standard fare, but they're trying really hard to resuscitate this thing.
Man.
Standard fare for NXT hype videos is really good, though. Like, saying standard fare is a high compliment to the great NXT video package history. The legacy, if you will.
Yeah, sure. So...
like, out of the break, they came in with another hype video that was just like random hype. It was like Kushida, MSK, Roderick Strong, a couple other guys. Boris, the hype videos. We're going to get to the point where NXT is just 2 hours of hype video.
Wasn't Sunday Night Heat like that for when it moved to MTV?
It might have been, actually, come to think of it. Wait, was that Stevie Night Heat or the Raven era of Heat? Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Stevie Night Heat was fun.
I like both those eras. Raven was an underrated GM kind of talker in wrestling history, but boy, if you go back and watch 95, 97 ECW, his promos do not hold up.
And if you go watch 1992, 1993 Johnny Polo promos, his promos are just
pretty great, hilarious.
They actually are.
He's actually like a better comedy character than he is a serious, moody guy. Anyway, we're off on some tangents here, buddy.
All right.
Tuesday next week.
Off the geometry class, it's time to go back and talk about NXT. So Ilya Dragunov versus Pete Dunne. Holy shit, this was a great match.
Yeah, so let's talk... let's just talk about the match before we get into the finer points of the finish. They absolutely beat the piss out of each other. So good the entire time. The entire time it was technically sound. Boris, what's your pet peeve in wrestling? What's the thing you hate the most?
People waiting for the next spot.
There was precisely 0 seconds of that in this match. Yep. It was just it was a pure war. Well, there was a couple seconds of it. We'll get to that. But it was a pure war for 95% of the time.
But it was worth it. It was
exactly.
Worth it.
We'll talk.
Dude, there was this one point where where Pete was lighting him up with a bunch of kicks, wrist locks, then Dragunov counters him with a chop, senton, then Dunne just in one swift move reverses him, puts him in a Fujiwara armbar.
No, just so slick, man. Just the technique. Man,
yeah. There's a small part of me as a wrestling fan that if Pete Dunne were to leave, I might cry more than if Adam Cole were to leave.
Yeah, I feel you. It'd be a harsh loss for NXT.
And that's because I know we'll see Adam Cole on AEW, but I don't know where someone like a Pete Dunne would end up.
Yeah, I think he would end up in AEW as well.
You think
so? I do. But yeah, well, who knows, man? Their roster is bloated.
Like this, anyways. Let's go back to this match.
It was really, really good, man. They worked very, very hard. 15 minutes, all of it worthy, and then.
Yep. So, So Walter is in the Capitol Wrestling Center. Ilya, I know this is one of a lot of people's most hated tropes in wrestling.
Yes.
And here we go.
Distraction finish, although it wasn't...
via music.
Yes. It wasn't quite a distraction roll-up. You slipped down a banana peel, you're an absolute shithead. But Ilya Dragunov was in control. Walter came out, and he was distracted by Walter. Now, he did have the wherewithal to get back on the offense, and they did have a couple minutes of match after, which was good.
Yep. So when Walter's music was going on, Ilya's distraction, Pete Dunne goes for a bitter end. He gets blocked. Torpedo Muscato countered with an elbow. Pete goes for it again. He actually gets the bitter end, and he wins by pinfall at 14 minutes and 27 seconds.
Pete Dunne wins vaguely cleanish. It's not a clean win. A clean win would be no distraction. Mm-hmm. But we've seen dirtier wins in pro wrestling. Yeah. So this probably sets up Ilya Dragunov's first challenger after he wins the title?
Depends if he's still in the company.
Oh, my God. Didn't even think of that, buddy. Didn't even think of that.
Yep. So post-match, Walter attacks Dragunov yet again, but he gets laid out with a Torpedo Moscow.
Yeah, so strange to have Dragunov lose, but then lay out Walter and hold the title. Maybe he is leaving the company. Because usually the guy who gets, stands tall at the end, he doesn't win the match.
Who knows what's
strange.
Going on?
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
A different kind of build, but I think we are building to Dragunov versus Pete Dunne for the UK title. That's what I think.
That's what you're thinking.
That's what I'm thinking, buddy.
Think so?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd bet you money on it. I'll pick it in the pick contest. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that's NXT TV from August 10th, 2020.
Yes, sir. We've said the cheeseburgers a lot. I would probably put it 3 cheeseburgers out of 5 for a 60% Sonic percentage on this show. Kind of like the new direction a little bit. There are obviously dark clouds, but some silver linings on them.
Yep. That, overall this show wasn't the worst. I have to say, with just everything going on, it was really hard to get pumped for the show.
I understand, yeah. Same. But, I'm always pumped for our show, which kind of helps me get pumped for NXT. But that's through no help of NXT. That's nothing on NXT. That's just because I love our podcast. I feel like we got a good thing going here, buddy. Yeah, I'm excited to do it with you. But yeah, so I agree with that, though. It's tough. It's tough right now. So let's quickly get through NXT and get out of here. We're both dying.
We're both dying, to say the least.
Woo!
Well, that music, that means it's time for NXT UK Corner as we talk about NXT UK, which is honestly my most...
Oh, yeah.
The show I look forward...
The show you look forward to the most. Every week, all week, Boris. And you're watching NXT and Ring of Honor no matter what, because you cover both. And also you sprinkle in a lot of wrestling on the side. So that says a lot, man. I'm almost there with you. I definitely was most excited for this main event this week.
Yeah. But other matches were actually pretty good as well.
Yeah.
So let's just get right into it. So Blair Davenport faced Xia Brookside.
I liked the announcers were saying that Blair Davenport has spent a lot of time chirping Xia. She's only here because of her daddy, Robbie Brookside, NXT UK trainer. And Blair Davenport is here to prove that. And Xia is here to prove that she is a damned fool and an idiot and a liar.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this match. It's funny because I think since we've been constantly covering NXT UK, this is the first time that we've seen Xia Brookside actually wrestle.
I think we've seen maybe in a tag match, or was she in that gauntlet, perhaps?
We weren't covering it back then.
Oh, interesting. I definitely watched. I've seen her, but you might be right, yeah.
Yeah. So Blair Davenport did, in fact, beat Xia Brookside by pinfall. I really like Blair Davenport. Like, you know, she's good.
The former B. Priestley, she's very good. Yeah, I think she's got hopefully a future. I could see Vince McMahon kind of digging her. I think she's got a unique look, and she's a good wrestler. I think she could be like a mid-card WWE kind of worker. I could see it happening.
Yep. All right, so then the real Breezango, Pretty Deadly, and Mustache Mountain, they share some words backstage. Whew.
Mustachio Mountain. Also, I would give the previous match 3 supernovas out of 5 for a 60% crumpet percentage, 60% no Amdar percentage.
Yeah, this is all going downhill from
here.
No,
we're good, man. Keep her going.
All right, it was announced a tournament will start next, we called this.
Yes, I'm so pumped. More Heritage Cup rules matches.
We called this. It was announced that a tournament will start next week, this Thursday, to whittle 8 men down just to 1 who will challenge Tyler Bate for the NXT UK Heritage Cup Championship. Featured in the tournament are Mark Andrews, Noam Dar, your boy.
Yes.
Kenny Williams, our boy.
Yes.
Oliver Carter, Nathan Frazier, sure. Teal Men, my guy. Sam Gradwell, and Wolfgang.
Wolfgang, yes. I really like the promo that would follow with Mark Andrews. And yeah, man, they didn't say this, but you'd have to assume that these are all going to be Heritage Cup rules.
I would assume so as well.
Yes.
A vignette highlighted Isla Dawn and her witchcraft in the woods. Dude, I freaking love this. This was
pro wrestling camp, but like the good kind, not the Gargano restaurant kind.
Or the Alexa Bliss Lily stuff.
Yeah,
like this was really good.
Yeah, really good is strong. It was some pro wrestling camp, but I liked it.
Get the hell out of my house if you're going to shit talk Isla Dawn.
I'm not shit talking anyone, but it was some good pro wrestling camp for sure.
Yeah. Backstage, Flash Morgan Webster slapped Wolfgang.
I love this too because Wolfgang was talking about like, Flash Morgan comes in. Wolfgang's talking about how you have to make an impact and that he slapped someone recently. I'm forgetting who again. It's very hot. But yeah, Flash Morgan Webster slaps Wolfgang in the face. Wolfgang's reaction was absolutely hilarious, and then he chased after Flash Morgan Webster. Very excited, and this looks like it's going to be a good little first round match.
Yep. So Dave Mastiff and Jack Stars faced off against Danny Jones and Josh Morrell.
Man, Danny Mastiff taking that cannonball, that does not look like a fun time. Good heavens.
No, not at all. Yeah, this match was okay. I didn't really care for it too much.
I just called him Danny Mastiff. It's Dave Mastiff.
What, did I call him Danny?
No, I did, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, but yeah, no, this match wasn't the strongest thing, but I like the big man, little man duo of Stars and Mastiff, and again, that cannonball is so impressive, but it does not look like a fun time to take.
So Mastiff and Stars did in fact win this match. How many crumpets, supernova would you give this?
Yeah, I wouldn't like try to say it was a classic here, but I thought it was pretty good. I like the tag team, so we're going to go 3 crumpets out of 5, 60% supernova percentage.
All right. Oof, that's what happens when both of us talk on the mic. It blows my ears.
Oh, sorry, buddy. Let's not do that again.
Nope. Backstage earlier, Amal and Nina Samuels got into a confrontation in the hair and makeup room.
Amel, she's great. Who was Nina Samuels came in? I actually was like, who is this person again?
Basically the other
right.
Ginny.
Yes, Philia. I think Amel's going to get a big, quick, clean win over this Nina Samuels.
Yep. And then our homegirl, Aphie Valkyrie, got a vignette. She spoke about how Ginny beat her last week.
I'm digging this feud. We've said our piece about Ginny, and let's see some more of Aphie versus Ginny.
Yep. Earlier in the week, Steve Turner interrupted Michael Satamora's training sessions with Emilia McKenzie and Aaliyah James to provoke a challenge to the NXT UK Women's Championship.
Digging it. Miko, kind of a shit disturber, although she wasn't disturbing the shit this week. She was around when shit was being disturbed, Boris.
Yeah. Dude, then...
Yeah, here we go, man.
Here
Honestly,
we go.
I watched this match. The first thing I did was look at the official BAM SNME Radio top 100. It's going to be a top 121 of 2021. I feel like that's a fun gimmick. But the first thing I did was start kind of looking through. I didn't pencil it in yet, but I was kind of looking through the matches, and I would say it's easily a top 10 match of the year. Easily. Perhaps higher.
Wow. And what the match we're talking about is the 30-minute Ironman match. A-Kid versus Jordan Devlin.
Awesome. Watch this match. I would say... You all right there, big homie? I would say, TJP versus Josh Alexander. They had an awesome Iron Man match. It was 60 minutes, and it was very, very good, very watchable. We rated it 4.5 clams or whatever you want to say, right? I would say this match was very similar in a lot of ways, but markedly better, noticeably better. It was quicker. It was easier to watch, and man, it might have officially, the switch might have officially flipped, Boris. I think I might be a Jordan Devlin guy.
There we go. We did it. We did it. High five, everyone.
He's still got a big old fucking head, but not everyone is perfect, Boris. I would say that...
Except Kurt Hennig.
Yes, exactly. The only perfect one is indeed the great Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. But yeah, this match was incredible. Just a bunch of unique spots that I haven't seen before. They worked their personalities. They worked their offense. They worked a great classic wrestling story of the fake Finn Balor working the leg on A-Kid, and A-Kid responding by working Jordan Devlin's arm.
Yeah, I really love this. Like, the reversals, just the amount of locks and the reverses, and it's the way that they were able to reverse. It's like, as I'm watching this match, it's like, I've never seen that before. It's like, It's just so really well done. So, at the end of the day, A-Kid defeated Jordan Devlin with a 2-1 score.
And I really liked how they did it. They didn't wait too long. Jordan Devlin was up for the majority of the match. A-Kid got a second fall, basically like the 10 minute mark. And then with, I think it was 2 minutes left, A-Kid goes ahead. So they still had a 2-minute fire and fury stretch where Jordan Devlin threw everything he could at A-Kid, and I really thought that was a clever way to do this kind of match. Because usually the finish comes right at the end, and it's a little cliche. We've seen this, but yeah, this didn't feel like 30 minutes. This was a quick, easy, breezy watch. Man, I poured myself a coffee this morning, woke up early before anybody else, just sat down, real nice, watched this classic wrestling match, set my day off so good, felt right. It was just a treat, man, just a joy to watch this.
I watched this last Thursday live.
Oh,
well,
nice.
Quote unquote live, right? Like, I sent you a message right away. It's like, damn, NXT UK.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Definitely, like I said, like, inarguable top 10 match of the year. Go watch this match and tell me I'm wrong. I'm telling you. Classic wrestling match here, Boris. We're going 4.5 supernovas out of 5. 90% A+. High-end top 10 match of the year. Watch this wrestling match.
A+ for A-Kid.
Yes, sir. The A+ kid.
Yeah, honestly, it's a really, 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 really good match, and I need to stop stomping on the wire.
You're selling these punches.
Yeah.
Stomp. Yep. Yeah, man. I think it's time for some water and a good night's rest, buddy.
I think so, too. But before that,
let's talk about BAM tomorrow.
Exactly. Let's talk about BAM, because tomorrow we're going to be mainly talking about some sports and wrestling. In terms of wrestling itself, we're going to be talking about Ring of Honor. Yep. We're going to be talking about NWA.
Yeah, so I've watched the NWA Champion Series draft, and tomorrow I'm going to watch every show in the Champion Series. We're going to have a full, quick report of the entire Champion Series. The draft, it was a good idea on paper, very complicated. There are nuggets that they can take from this and make it really cool. But yeah, we're going to talk sports, we're going to talk Ring of Honor and NWA, we're going to do our pick contest for AAA, and I might watch Orange Cassidy versus Brian Alvarez. That came up on my timeline, and I might check that out.
You know what you should watch?
What's that?
Priscilla Kelly / Gigi Dolan versus Orange Cassidy.
Interesting. Okay, maybe we'll do a little Orange Cassidy 2-pack. That might not happen on this show, but we'll watch a little Orange Cassidy 2-pack, Shakur.
You got me.
All right, I've broken Boris once more.
So, so for the next 3 days, you'll be able to hear my voice, at least because you are listening to NXT Talk. Then tomorrow, you're going to be able to listen to me and Matt on BAM. Then I'm going to be an old fuck with Joe Aguinaldo.
Nice. Young
covering
gun.
some AEW. Thank God Cody is not on the show.
Oh, rude. Yeah, the young gun and the old fuck crossover. We need to have Mouth on NXT Talk one of these days.
I don't think that's going to happen.
What do you mean? You can come over, drink some beers with us. Mouth, you're invited if you'd like.
And I just meant him watching NXT.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, of course, anyone from SNEB Radio, always welcome at our home. But it'd be dope to have him over.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But and then on Friday / Saturday, be sure to listen to the Smack Daddies. They have a great, fun review, so laid back. It's the ultimate East Coast experience.
Oh, it's so dope. It is the East Coast experience. Just chill guys, laid back. Sometimes they get fired up, but for the most part, just a couple good old boys from down east having a good time talking the wrestling.
Yep. And then on Sunday, be sure to listen to the main show. And then next week is SummerSlam week.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing the Zoom for NXT TakeOver. During SummerSlam week, I think we're going to have, for BAM, we're going to have a retro review. I believe it lines up pretty well that the 20-year anniversary of SummerSlam 2001 is going to be on a BAM release day or close to it. So I think we're going to do SummerSlam review pretty soon.
And that card to 2001.
It's a head scratcher. It's a doozy. I think SummerSlam 2002 is my favorite show ever.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the best. It might be the best. It's certainly my favorite. SummerSlam 2001 is not too far behind.
Yeah.
It's an interesting, entertaining watch. And it's got one of the most interesting matches ever, Angle versus Austin. From that card, you can rate it a ton of different ways.
Exactly. If you like merch, go to ballergear.ca. You can get all the SNME Radio and NXT Talk merch. And that is it, my friend.
I think we done did it, buddy.
Did it.
Get some water.
Good.
Get some fresh air. He's Boris. I'm Matt. Good night. Yeah.